Welcome back to Edison TV. I am Louisa Pilbeam, and today I'll be interviewing the Chief Financial Officer from Renewi, who have reported their latest financial results today. And I'm happy to say that I am joined by Toby Woolrych to talk through them. Hello, Toby. How are you?
Very well, thank you. And thank you for having us back.
Thank you for being here. Now, I think a good place to start is for anyone who is new to Renewi, for you to give them an idea of what you do.
Well, we're a pure play recycler, also known as a waste to product company. This means that we don't see waste as something to be collected and disposed of by the cheapest means. Our purpose as a company is to protect the planet by giving new life to used materials. In other words, we enable the circular economy that's essential to achieving our societal climate change targets. And we're primarily based in the Netherlands and Belgium, both countries with a great commitment to the environment. And there we're the clear market leader with revenues of around 1.7 billion euros and around a 25% market share. Each year, we take in over 12 million tons of waste of all different types, and we try to give it a new life.
Okay, now what investors, of course, want to know, as well as what you do, is, of course, how are your latest results? It's very important.
Well, we're really pleased with our resilient results given COVID. Revenues from our ongoing businesses were flat, and EBIT was down just 3% at 73 million euros. With lower borrowing costs, our PBT has actually increased by 11% to 47 million euros. We have reduced exceptional items by nearly 80% as forecast to 29 million euros. So we made a statutory net profit for the year of 11 million euros compared to a loss of 77 million euros in the year before. Cash flow was also strong as we took a lot of actions to protect the balance sheet in COVID. Our adjusted free cash flow was 108 million euros, further supported by COVID tax deferrals in the Netherlands of 54 million euros. So our core net debt actually reduced to 344 million euros, and our leverage fell from 3 times in the prior year to 2.2 times at 31st of March this year.
Now, Toby, you mentioned COVID there. How did it affect you?
Well, clearly we had a lot of operational changes in the first quarter to keep people safe, to transition to working from home, etc. And all of that went really well. And as the situation settled down, we very quickly saw actually how resilient our business is. Waste keeps being generated, just sometimes in a different place. So as hospitality activity went down, the bulky waste activity, that's the stuff we get from recycling centres, actually went up. And construction activity in the Benelux actually was pretty resilient so far. So, we saw a dip in the first half in our key recycling prices like paper and steel, but then a strong bounce back in the second half due to supply shortages. So the net effect was that our EBIT went down by 25% in the first half, up on prior year by 19% in the second half, and hence that overall slightly down at 3% for the year as a whole.
What about a gradual easing of COVID restrictions? What impact do you think that will have on the markets that you operate in?
Well, we don't think COVID will have changed our markets in any fundamental way. However, we've learned some important and very positive things, such as our flexible working and our increased digitization of certain activities. But more important, actually, is that national governments don't seem to have been deflected from their green agendas. And in fact, they're all talking consistently across Europe about building back better and greener.
That's good, isn't it? Good news. I mean, how quickly are you expecting the economy to open up then?
Well, we've been confident enough in what we've seen to increase our EBIT outlook for next year by over 10% today. GDP forecasts for our markets are picking up nicely, and anecdotally, I sense a desire to get out and celebrate our freedom when it comes. And all of that generally creates waste. We expect really a reversal of the previous themes that we saw during the last year. So a recovery in the high street, a recovery in hospitality, but a reversion to normal levels of bulky waste. What will be key to us will be what happens to recycling prices that have remained very high into the first quarter. We'll think they'll soften a bit during the rest of the year.
Yeah, we're all hoping for things to open up quickly, aren't we? Definitely. Now, Renewi has outlined a 3 to 5 year business improvement strategy. How is that going so far?
Well, we do indeed have a positive strategy for long-term growth, and it's important for us to keep it on track during COVID and not to get derailed. Our market strategy is very simple: to recycle more, to increase the spread on the products we make by increasing their quality, and to grow our market share. Now, market strategy is underpinned by Renewi 2.0, our digitization program. We're also committed to recovering 20 million euros of lost EBIT at ATM, one of our largest sites, which was impacted by the temporary closure of its end markets for thermally clean soil. So with your permission, I'll take each one of these in turn. At ATM, we're transitioning the soil cleaning activities away from producing thermally clean soil to instead upcycle the product into gravel, sand and filler as secondary materials for the concrete and asphalt industries. We made good progress last year. We've installed capacity to store the filler. We've developed product certification for the materials, and we're developing commercial outlets for all of them. And we missed our profit target for last year, due mainly to some extra provisions for our legacy inventory, but we're remaining confident in the recovery journey. If we look at the Renewi 2.0 program, that's also made good progress. We've gone live with My Renewi, our new digital customer interface, and we're transitioning our customers onto it, and so far the feedback is positive. We've also gone live with our digital procure-to-pay system, PAIR. But most important to our long-term growth is our innovation pipeline of projects that will help us to recycle more and increase the quality of the products we're making. Several projects that were just ideas on the pipeline a year ago are now under construction or even being commissioned. Examples being the upcycling project at ATM, the bio-LNG project with Shell in Amsterdam, and the expansion of our mattress recycling coverage with IKEA all the way across the Netherlands now and potentially into Belgium. We've also added new ideas into the pipeline, including more investment in plastics recycling and potentially significant investments in Belgium in state-of-the-art new sorting lines to meet the latest incoming legislation. We believe overall that our business model of avoiding landfill and incineration helps us to focus on the coming markets in recycling and the generation of secondary materials for customers.
Toby, you've mentioned recycling rates a lot there. Can you take me through what Renewi's current and target recycling rates are, and how do those rates align with EU sustainability objectives, and how do you rank in your industry and across companies?
Well, Renewi's sustainability strategy and its business strategy are inextricably intertwined, and our recycling rates are at the heart of it. When we launched our new strategy last year, our recycling rate was just under 64.5%, which is already industry leading. And we said we would increase it to 75% in 5 years. This year, we've taken the first steps and we've increased it by 1% to 65.6%. We've also launched internally and with our customers Mission 75, a call to arms for all our people and our partners to come up with innovative ways in which to divert more waste towards recycling and to do so with ever increasing quality. According to research released earlier this year, even if countries fulfill the promises made as part of the Paris Climate Accord, that will only take us 15% of the path to a below 2 degrees centigrade world. The other 85% will be delivered by the circular economy, by doubling the amount of circularity, reuse, recycle, production of secondary raw materials to replace the use of virgin resource. Globally, we have to move from today at 8.6% circular to 17% circular within 11 years. And if this can be achieved, we will partially close the massive circularity gap and limit global warming to less than 2 degrees. That's what we can help to do. And I would say that we're one of just a number of pioneers in the European waste industry whose focus is completely on recycling and on secondary materials. That's where we make the positive climate change impact. That's where the growth is. And this is where Renewi can really consolidate its position as a leading waste to product company in these advanced circular economies.
Well, Toby, it definitely sounds as if Renewi is a company for the future to protect our planet. And it's a subject that I know we here at Edison TV will be speaking about, perhaps with yourselves in the future. But I just wanted to say thank you very much for your time today. It was lovely to speak to you, and I do hope we will speak to you again. Thank you, Toby. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Louisa. Nice to speak with you.